What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that came to my attention recently on Twitter/TikTok. It's, of course, some drama. Basically, I saw this tweet the other day, and it's just some Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj fan account, I guess. They reposted a TikTok from a user called Lily Tino, who is basically a trans TikToker who goes around and does a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff on TikTok. Her account is like an algorithm of different stuff, and she mainly posts like food reviews, restaurant reviews, and things like that. And so this Croatian Barb's Twitter account basically reposted one of Lily's TikToks where it's like a compilation of Lily getting like misgendered at restaurants and things like that. And the tweet says, "How do you get mad at someone misgendering you when they don't know you?" And then they go on to say, "The world we live in." And of course, when I saw this and I watched the actual TikTok from Lily, after I saw this tweet, obviously I went and I checked it out. And, you know, her videos are extremely harmless. She's just talking about being trans and reviewing food online. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. The person who posted this tweet went on to say in a following tweet of the same thread, they say, "That person is calling their managers getting poor people in trouble, workers that are probably older, trying to earn their money and have no idea what is going on with these non-binary things, just because the person on the video got called a sir while simultaneously looking like one." So right there, the end of this second tweet is just, it makes this account's intentions just like glaringly clear. They posted this A, for bait, and B, just to be like blatantly transphobic. Like, there's no other way to put it. The last sentence where they say the person on the video got called a sir while simultaneously looking like one, like, that's just, it's very obvious. Lily makes it very clear by how she presents herself, how she dresses, how she looks, and also on her TikTok account it literally says she, her, hers in the pronouns of on her bio. So that's just like blatant transphobia. Like, at that point you're just like, I'm just gonna have to start removing my cats from the room when I film, because this is the second video in a row where they've fucked with my shit. Basically, I just wanted to come on here and talk about this because this tweet that this Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga fan account put up has caused a lot of controversy, and I wanted to talk about it because in the replies to this thread on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, but also in the comments of this video on Lily's actual TikTok, the audience is divided. If you go onto Lily's TikTok, which I will link in the description of this video, and you read through the comments, like, they're basically what you would expect from a trans woman online. First of all, this video is incredibly viral. It has 11.6 million views at the time of this video being filmed, and it has like 85,000 comments. All of them are exactly what you would expect. So we have people who are saying, like, you know, "I feel you. I have a MacBook, but people keep calling it a laptop. I drive a truck, but I call it a car, and I get so angry when people call it a truck and not a car. I totally relate to you." It's basically just people mocking Lily for being upset that these people at these restaurants misgender her. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the video from Lily's account. We're gonna watch it together, and then we'll continue this discussion after we watch it. But I'm telling you right now, I've seen it, and it's incredibly mild. Like, it's one of the most mild misgendering TikToks I've seen. I personally have made more aggressive content than this video, so I really don't understand why she's getting so much hate for this.
It looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Hi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Okay. The Sweetwater starts at okay.
Sir?
Not.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir.
Oh, okay.
It just really sucks every time it happens.
I'm sorry about that.
I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir, you know? Thank you. Did you call me sir? I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir.
What?
Called me sir.
Oh.
It's just like, it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Very good. Thank you so much. No, yeah. Thank you. I'm not a sir. Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut when I get called sir. I feel like I need to tell him. I need to tell him that hurt. It hurts more, though, and it's not intentional because it means like this is sir to him. I know you didn't mean it, but I'm not a sir.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I know you didn't mean it. It's just, it hurts. I know when people clock me, it's fine, but like it does kind of hurt. Thank you. I'm not sir.
Oh, sorry.
Not sir. Not sir. The guy who dropped the food off, he called me sir twice in a row.
Okay. I'll let him know that and GM as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like I said, it's a very mild video. Like, she's very respectful every time. It's very obvious. Maybe it's just hard for me to understand where everybody else's anger is coming from, because I personally have experienced this as a trans person. I know what it feels like to be consistently misgendered in public, and I know what it feels like, especially when you've confronted is an aggressive word, when you've brought the topic up and they continue to do it anyways, even though you've said like, hey, like, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, like, I use these pronouns, and they continue to just like disrespect you anyways. Like, maybe it's only because I know how she feels that I feel like she is not in the wrong here. If you guys feel differently, you can let me know in the comments. But the reason that this whole like Twitter discourse pissed me off was just because she's so like, she is literally so respectful about it in her video. She always is very polite. She's just like, she's very blunt. She's like, I'm not a sir. Like, I'm not a sir. I go by she, her pronouns. And for the most part, the service workers, the waiters, the managers, what have you, are polite about it, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, I'll be sure to talk to the waiter about it. And even if they're just placating her, like, even if they're just saying to her face, I'm so sorry, like, I'll be sure to talk to them about it, and then they go in the kitchen and they talk shit, like, who gives a fuck, right? Like, at least in the moment they apologize, even if it is not a genuine apology. If the waiter or the manager or what have you fixes their behavior for the rest of her visit, like, that's literally all that Lily is asking for. She's literally just saying that while she is there as a patron of their restaurant or bar or wherever she is, she does not wish to be misgendered. Like, I feel like that's not an outlandish ask. And everyone on Twitter and in her comments were kind of like justifying the way that people were misgendering her, because they were like, well, you know, some of these waiters may be older, some of these waiters may, like, English may not be their first language, and so they're just going based off of appearances. And while I can understand to a certain degree if English is not your first language, or if you're of the older generation and you just don't get this whole transgender phase fad that society is going through right now, it's not an excuse. Lily is very obviously a feminine presenting person. She is wearing makeup, she's wearing dresses, she's wearing very obviously feminine clothing. Like, just by looking at her, you would say, okay, this person is presenting feminine. If I were her waiter or her bartender or whatever, I would go based off of her appearance and I would call her ma'am. I would use she, her pronouns. I understand that assuming somebody's gender and somebody's pronouns can be difficult, because some people dress effeminately and some people sound very feminine, where in fact they consider themselves to be male. They present femininely, but they identify as like male, or maybe they identify as non-binary, what have you, like, whatever. I understand that it can be confusing and it can be difficult and you may assume wrong, but even if you assume wrong, you should apologize and you should correct yourself. You could at least refrain from using gendered language. Like, Lily literally says in her TikTok, you don't have to call me ma'am, but don't call me sir. She literally gives them the option to simply not refer to her. And I know that people do it subconsciously as well. Like, I know that people out there use they them pronouns when referring to a single person all the time. You do that in your everyday life so often and you don't even realize it, but the moment that you're called out for purposefully misgendering somebody or purposefully using the wrong gender terminology for somebody, now it's a problem. I was a server. I worked in the food service industry for years. I started working in the food service industry when I was 15 years old, and there were times when, yes, it was polite to say, oh, here you go, ma'am, or oh, you're welcome, sir, stuff like that. But for the most part, you don't have to refer to anybody. When I was a waiter, oftentimes when I was greeting a table, I would just say, how are y'all doing tonight? How are you guys doing tonight? How is everything tonight? Like, even when I worked for a catering company and we were going to fancier events, it was never asked of me from my employers to use ma'am or sir or any sort of gendered language when I was addressing clients. I feel like this person really encompassed like my thought process, I guess, in their tweet. This person responded, "This is a person that's clearly going out of their way to present themselves in a feminine manner. It's not even ambiguous. I understand that some people have trouble understanding that, but they also need to understand why they'd be offended by that. Be respectful. It's not hard at all." I completely agree. Like, I'm from the South, okay? I'm from Texas. I have been through this whole thing time and time again where everyone is always like, especially when I first came out and I hadn't started T yet and I didn't pass. I was very clockable, especially when I got clocked by like older folks or when I was getting misgendered by like my grandparents. Like, people would say like, oh, they're just old, they don't know any better, like they're from a different time. But if I'm sitting in front of you and I'm literally telling you, please do not call me this, call me this instead, at that point, it's no longer, oh, they're from a different time, they don't get it. It becomes a matter of blatant disrespect. Lily probably doesn't sit in those restaurants for hours on end and requiring you to spend multiple hours having this mental battle where you're like, oh my God, this person sounds like a man but looks like a woman, and my gut instinct is to call her sir, but she tells me that she's a ma'am and I can't do this, and like having like smoke coming out of your ears because you just can't comprehend a trans person's existence. All you have to do is, while she's there in the establishment, is respect her wishes. Like, that's literally all you have to do. And I did some digging. Lily has made it clear, whether it's on her TikTok or her live streams or whatever it is that she does, that she calls these restaurants ahead of time, and she specifically says, I'm coming here, I'm a content creator, is it okay if I film in your restaurant? 1. 2, I am a trans woman, I use she, her pronouns, I go by ma'am, please do not call me sir. And she says that in this video multiple times. She said, I called ahead, or I spoke to a manager beforehand, and I explicitly said, prior to me visiting your establishment, do not call me sir. I don't know, maybe it's just that you guys don't have any fucking common sense, but people keep saying that transgender people's identities are wrapped up in being victims and having a victim complex and thinking that like everything has to go our way all of the time. And that's just like, I don't know how to tell you guys how untrue that is. All trans people are asking is that you respect us. Why is it so difficult for you guys to be nice to trans people? Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Maybe I just can't connect the dots. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a trans person. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they're so insecure in the fact that they don't get the transgender thing that they just blow up over the fact that they're stupid. And I know that people may come on here and like try to argue that if a trans person doesn't pass or if a trans person is easily clockable, then they should expect to get misgendered. And to a certain degree, I can see where you're coming from with that argument, okay? Even if a trans person is clockable, even if a trans person doesn't pass, bottom line is trans people should not have to pass in order for you to respect our pronouns and our gender identity. Just be respectful, bro. Like, why is it so difficult for you to respect trans people? No one's saying that waiters are gonna have to start approaching tables and be like, good evening, everybody. Before I take your orders, can I please get everybody at the table's preferred pronouns? Like, no, nobody's fucking asking you to do that. That's fucking ridiculous. And that's what I feel like cis people, specifically transphobic people, don't understand. Is like, trans people really aren't asking for much. If you have any other thoughts on that, I would love to hear them. You can leave them in the comments of this video. Thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there really quick. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching all the way through. If you're still here, I will see y'all in the next video.